The previous meeting, is there any additions or corrections that anybody has? Hearing none, we will we'll take a motion to approve them.
I would make that motion.
We have a motion, and we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that's good. We'll move on to a public hearing. So this is the part where we'll open the meeting up for public comment. Was there any written comments in for this?
There were no written comments received.
No written comments?
No.
And I don't see anybody here from the public, so we will close the open meeting and we will discuss it as a board. As far as returning the $5,250 back to deed.
So moved.
We have a motion. Second. Rick second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now we'll look at the state revolving loan funds, putting a resolution. We wanna send that to council. So we need approval by the board. Is there any questions on that, or? Okay, we'll take a motion.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion, we'll take a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. That'll go to council next Wednesday. Coordinator report.
Okay, so a couple of things, first and foremost, for the, Community Roadside Landscape Partnership Program, I am in the process of finishing the application that needs to be submitted by December 31st for that. Teresa and I have a meeting with Ron today to make sure that, all of the plantings that were selected by sergeants are going to be sufficient in creating the look and screening that we want. And have some further discussion with him on what work the city can do versus if we're gonna have to have sergeants come in and do some of the plantings for the larger trees, or if we need to have do that. So I just kinda wanted to throw that in there to let you guys know that we do have a design. We're just trying to make sure that that design is gonna meet the needs and our expectations before we send it to the state for approval. So kind of wanted to throw that in there. Also, I did just get an email update from Matt Mullins with Maxfield Researchers on the county housing study. They are anticipating having a draft report to us by Christmas or New Year's at the latest. They've said that the majority of the data collected and text has been written, but they have gaps and they're trying to reach certain rental properties and getting some missing lot supply information for the subdivisions that they were given. So they're just trying to wrap up some small detailed information before they present the draft report. So hopefully the first of the year we'll be able to see a draft of the housing study. I'm trying to think, let me just make sure I don't have anything else on my agenda that's worth mentioning. I also today will be meeting with an individual who has shown interest in EV charging stations being installed somewhere within the community. So I've done a little bit of research, and as well as the individual who's reached out to us has, so we're gonna see what the feasibility is of putting in level 2 charging stations or something like that within the community, just knowing kind of where electric vehicles are headed, to determine feasibility and if there's any funding available or what that might look like. So I have a meeting on that this afternoon, and we do also have developers who have shown interest in developing some townhomes here within the community. Those discussions, I just want to let you know, are being had. At this point, we can't disclose who or where, but there are talks of development happening, so, some good information that I figured you guys might wanna know. And that's all I've got for my report. Anybody have any questions on it or anything?
Just a comment on
Yeah.
the electric chargers.
Mm-hmm.
I know you can work with, obviously, the city staff, Todd out there, but also People's Energy is putting some in, so they'd be a good,
Oh, that's a good one, okay.
they've got a couple in, I think, now, and they're looking at putting a couple more, so they'd be a good source for information on
Okay.
pricing and whatever. But
Okay.
I know they're working on those, so.
Awesome. Yeah, I reached out to the city of Lanesboro because I know they had put some in down there and they've been very successful for them. So I got the details on the type of charging stations that they utilize, which in doing research of the area, those are the most commonly used ones. So, but I'll definitely reach out to Courtney at Peoples. She'll have some information.
Yeah, 'cause I know they're working on them. I think they have some in already.
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks.
I think Hy-Vee North in Rochester
Yep.
has a couple too.
Yep.
The in Beach Whirly guys.
Yeah, they're the charge point ones, and I did call and talk with a gal from there. She was very helpful, in trying to determine what level charging station, because they've all got different adapters and things like that, so what the right decision was. So she gave me some good information, and I just figured I'd kind of see where today's conversation went and proceed from there, so.
Cool.
How about the casting connections? Like, I see you got that lined up. How are you gonna
Yeah.
get the word out on that?
So, I have created, the Eventbrite page that I included in the email with, the board packets to everybody. So if you're able to attend, feel free to register. That link can also be utilized through Facebook. So I emailed it to Liza for the chamber, so the chamber can share the information. And then I'll have Teresa also put it out through the city's Facebook page. That way people can share it and have access to it. And, I'll look into putting a little insert within the newsletter, as well for when those go out.
And then, so what do we tell people if we say, we wanna invite somebody? Is there an agenda, or is it just a free-for-all networking, or is there gonna be a little EDA update, or how?
So the way I laid it out, is for us to be, initially people are gonna probably kind of be milling around and talking with one another, but to just take 5 minutes and be able to catch everybody up kind of on what's going on in the community with regards to EDA updates. The first one, which is January 10th, is where I think it would be good to remind people that we will have that facade improvement program, to take advantage of, so to remind them that we do have tools and resources available, whether it's money or guidance in some way, shape, or form, so, and just to let them know that, like, hey, we do exist, 'cause I think a lot of people forget us, so. And I did schedule the first 3, so the first one is January 10th, at 7:30. I scheduled one at Daniels again in February on the 7th at 9:30. And then sticking with Daniels just until we kind of see how it goes, March 7th at 2 p.m. So figured we'd try one of each of the times and see what turnout maybe is, and if people have comments on what works best and what doesn't. And then we can decide kind of from there how we want to proceed with the remainder of the month. And let's see, there was something else I was going to add to that. Oh, originally we had talked about doing the first Thursday of every month. And then we had mentioned maybe it would be better to be the Thursday following our first EDA, or our EDA meeting. So some of them end up being the second Thursday just because of how the Tuesday falls and when our meetings are. I would rather have to push this back a week than not have information to be able to provide them, so. But those are set up and good to go.
Good. Okay, we'll move on to the 2019 Smith contribution. We had asked for an
Yep.
increase this year.
Yep, so, as mentioned last month, they asked for us to consider increasing our contributions to Smith, and leaving last month's meeting, information had been requested about Smith, so we knew a little bit more about where the money was going and things like that. So I included in your packet, which is really small and grainy, so I apologize if it didn't turn out how I was hoping. There's a ways to give section, and I've got the brochure if you wanna see it, too, I can pass it around. But for the most part, unless you select a specific fund that you want the money to be put into, when a city contributes, it generally goes into their, general endowment fund, which then gets put back into our communities to help with vibrancy, and more economic development projects. In it says for every dollar raised locally, $10 is invested back into that community. So, our communities are finding way more benefit than the money that we're actually giving them to do the work and provide that to us. So, I just wanted to provide some more information and, see if an increase to Smith is something that you guys were interested in. I know the final budget's gonna probably be approved at the next council meeting, so if we need to, I don't know, ask council to revise that, or if we're comfortable with it just coming out of our, current, other service charge fund. I know we have 4,500 in that account, and the 1,000 from Smith comes out of there. I think there might be a little money left over if we're comfortable it just coming out of there too. It's kind of up to you guys on increasing it or leaving it the same and where that money comes from.
Well, I guess if there's enough money in our budget right now, I would say we just up it to that $1,250 they're asking for and take it out of our budget without,
Okay.
and just leaving it so we don't, if we can, you know, that's my suggestion.
Yep.
I agree.
Okay, so increase it to $1,250.
So I don't know, do we have to make a motion on that? I would just.
Has it been 1,000 for a long time?
Yeah, it has been, yeah, for a few years. And if they're giving
So
back.
it's not like an every year thing?
Every.
That it's been bumped?
No,
No.
no, we haven't raised it for a while, and, I mean, if they're spending back tenfold, I mean, it's a good investment, especially right now, we got businesses looking to expand or grow.
Right.
It's a good investment for them.
Do we want the additional $200 to go to anything specific, or just keep it all general endowment?
I would think we just leave it in the general endowment and let them decide how they spend it, and they seem to utilize it pretty well. That I've noticed in the past. I mean, some of the projects they've done in town was, they helped with that Kim nursery. That's one of them I can think of top of it. Can you think of any other ones, Chris? No, I know, but I know that's, was one of the.
Was a big one.
That was a pretty good investment there. And that's probably been, how long has that been there now? 15 years?
Yeah, close to
Oh,
that.
it's been a while.
Long time.
I mean, it's.
Almost
it's-
20.
Yeah, it seems longer than. Well, I would,
Is it 1250 or 1200?
1250.
In the
So it'll be an
last
extra
minute.
250.
Yeah, so
1200.
they
Sorry.
did
Yeah.
do an increase, and this, so the increase they requested was 1,200 when
what?
they stopped, yeah. However, you can take your pick if you wanna do 1250, they're not gonna like be like, sorry.
We don't want that.
Yeah, so I mean,
thought
if we
it
would,
was 1250. That was my mistake.
yeah, so if we wanna do, we can do whatever it is we feel inclined to do, that's more so up to you guys.
I'll make a motion to increase it to 1,200.
Okay, we have a motion for 12, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Alright. And we'll just leave it as coming out of our normal budget. Moving on to other business, do we have anything else?
I have a couple of reminders. So tomorrow, Trail Creek Coffee is presenting at 1 Million Cups in Rochester, at 9 a.m. I will be in attendance, so if you guys aren't able to attend, I can report back on that next month. In addition, another link that I had sent out in our email last week, CEDA is hosting their quarterly marketing in the morning meeting at People's Energy Co-op. So it is for, hiring. So a gal from Jobs HQ will be coming and talking about workforce and hiring and things like that. So if you yourselves would be interested in that, or you know anybody who may find interest in that topic, they are more than welcome to come. It starts at 7 a.m. on Thursday. So, and I can resend that link if anybody needs it as well.
Is that something you need to register for, or?
They do have an online registration page, so I can send that link, to all of you if you're wanting to distribute it to people so they can register online. Or they can always, it's on social media through the newsletter for CEDA too, so, I can get that link out if you need it.
If you could send it to me for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Oh, if anybody else wants it, or? I don't know.
7 to 8 o'clock?
7 AM.
7 AM to
Yeah,
8.
7 to 8, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, are you thinking of going?
I am thinking of going, yeah.
I might, forward that to me too.
Okay.
Would you want a carpool or?
Actually, I work just
Oh, you
5
work
miles
over
north
there.
of there.
Oh, sure.
So I'll
In Pine Island?
Yeah, I work in
Okay.
Pine Island, so I'll just zip down and then zip back.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay.
So,
All right.
I'll send it to both of
Otherwise-
you after the meeting.
yeah. Is there any other business? Not, we'll look forward to, is there anything that anybody is looking to put on next month's agenda for January?
I guess I was just wondering, when would we hear back from the small cities application, like what the next update would be?
So, is that May? Did they say May?
I think it would be shortly after the first
First
year
year.
that we would hear the initial answer.
And then the
we
final
would-
application would be May?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I remember.
Yeah,
is
okay.
We'd
I
hear
was
shortly
thinking-
after the first year,
Yep.
sometime January, February.
Mhm.
And then nothing yet.
Okay.
Okay, if that's it, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All right, thank you, everybody.
I know.
That was like a quick meeting.
Take them when we can.